What you should know before starting your LLC. Does everyone tell you you need to start your LLC when starting a business, but you're not sure what steps to take? Do you want to start landing clients, making money in your business or side hustle, but you want to be legit? If you're serious about starting a business, but you want to do it the right way, you're in the right place, because in this video, I'm going to share everything you need to know before starting your LLC. Hey, welcome back to my channel. If you're new to me, my name is CourtneyLSanders. I'm an online life and business coach as well as wife and mom. I wear all the hats and do all the things. And in today's video, I want to talk to you about what you absolutely need to know before you get your LLC. So I am intimately experienced with this because I started my LLC a really long time ago. I'm not going to tell you how long ago it was, but I'll just say it was over a decade ago, and it was in college when I first started my business. I remember borrowing actually $250 to go down to the Secretary of State and file my LLC. And so while I have a lot of experience and I've done a lot of things right when it comes to setting up these, LLCs and business entities, I've also done a lot of things wrong. So that's what we're going to talk about in today's video so that you don't make the same mistakes I did. So let's get into it. All right, so the first thing that you need to know when it comes to filing your LLC or setting up an LLC is what an LLC is, right? Everybody throws that around, girl, I'm getting my LLC, I'm setting up a business, and they really don't even know what they're talking about. So what is an LLC? An LLC is a business structure. It's a legal business structure, right? And the important thing to understand is that it is a separate entity from you. That is the first thing that you must understand. An LLC is a separate entity from you as a person. This is really important because just as you have a social security number, your LLC is going to have a social security number, which is actually called an EIN number, right? And so this is really important because having your business structured this way as an LLC that is separate from you, it provides a level of legal shielding when it comes to your assets. So depending on your business, maybe you're in some sort of high-risk business or you do something and someone sues you, if you're doing things the right way and you have your LLC set up the right way and you are, entering into contracts under your LLC, there is a level of protection there in that even if there is a judgment against you or you lose your lawsuit, all of the assets in the LLC would be liable, but your personal assets would not be liable. And so that's the main reason why you hear so many people talking about getting their LLC is because they're getting ready to enter into business, and business, as always, carries some risk. And so by having your LLC, you want to make sure that you are protecting your personal assets, so your personal home, your personal car, your personal money, all of that, from all of the assets in the business. And by the way, I am not an attorney and this is not legal advice. All right, the second thing you need to know when setting up your LLC is that an LLC, while it is a legal business structure, it is not a trademark and it is not a copyright. And so this is really important to know. Like I said, I did some things right, but I also made some mistakes. This was a big mistake that I made when I set up my first LLC ever out of college. So I remember I came up with a business idea and I came up with a business name that I thought was really cute because it was a play on one of my favorite book titles. And so I was like, oh, this is great. I looked up the LLC was available. And so I thought that I was in the clear to then use this name because the LLC was available. But there is a big difference between an LLC and a trademark. There might be an LLC name that is available for you to use, but just because you register that LLC with that name doesn't mean that you're not infringing on somebody else's trademark. And so it was years of me operating under this business name when finally I was like, hey, I think I probably need to trademark this, especially if I'm going to grow the business. And so I paid an attorney a lot of money over the course of 18 months to try to file this trademark, and it kept getting rejected because it was too close to the book that I had created the name as a play off of. Go figure, right? So I ended up having to change my entire business name and ended up having to file an entire new LLC, which was really annoying, not just for the money that I had to pay to do that and all the money that I lost trying to get this trademark that I wasn't going to get because it was borderline infringing on someone else's trademark, but I also lost a lot of history with that LLC. And so we'll talk about history in a minute, but having that LLC, for all of those years would have been extremely beneficial to me. And so having to start over from scratch, hurt a little bit, but we're okay now. But do not make that mistake because I made it. Your LLC is different from a trademark and a copyright. The next thing you need to know when it comes to setting up an LLC is that having an LLC will help you make and save more money. So remember in the last point when I was talking about how salty I was when I had to create a new LLC and I lost all that history that I had with the old one, part of the reason for that is when you have an LLC, you can borrow money in your business name. Now, this is something that I've recently gotten into, but I'm kind of astounded at how easy it is and how if you have a profitable business, banks have no problem loaning you money to engage in other business ventures. So if you want to grow your business, maybe you want to come up with a product line, you need a new website. So many of us are used to dipping into our personal savings in order to fund these things. If you have an LLC, you can go to a bank and you can get funding for your business, which is really amazing. And so that helps you make money and make money a lot faster because you don't have to wait until you save up the money in order to invest in your business. But additionally, having an LLC will help you save money. And so again, this is something that I've really been diving in, but particularly this will help you save money on taxes. So think of all the things that you have to buy for your business. Many of those expenses are tax write-offs. Isn't that amazing? So many of the same things that you would be buying in your personal name, not a tax write-off. But if you buy it in your LLC's name with your LLC's money in your LLC bank account at the end of the year, that goes on all of your business statements, your balance sheet, your profit and loss statement, and that rolls up at the end, and you can submit that in your tax returns and save a lot of money on taxes. In fact, you can do some really cool things with your LLC where you can even start to buy different assets and save money on taxes that you would have paid. So as I'm recording this video, I'm actually recording this in an investment property that I purchased with my LLC's money, and this was money that I was gonna have to give away to Uncle Sam in the form of taxes anyway. So in a very real sense, it's almost like I got a free investment property just by having a profitable business that was filed as an LLC. All right, I have more tips where that came from, but first I want to hear from you. Do you have your LLC yet? Have you filed it? Are you in the process? Let me know in the comments below. All right, the fourth thing you need to know when it comes to getting your LLC is that you have to keep it in good standing. Again, I have made all of the mistakes, right? So my first LLC, I made it in college. I made it in the city that I was living in when I was in school. And then of course I got a job after college and moved away. And so it wasn't until years later, I'm thinking my LLC is great. I go to open a bank account, come to find out that my LLC was not in good standing because I didn't pay those annual fees. So this is gonna vary by state to state. Again, I am not an attorney, but different states have different filing fees for your LLC. So you have to pay to file or register your LLC, but then often you'll have to pay annually or maybe biannually in order to keep your LLC in good standing. So don't make the mistake that I did thinking just because you paid the money one time to set up your LLC that you are forever and ever good to go. You're not forever good to go. You're gonna need to make sure that you are filing on an annual basis. And so you wanna make sure that when you're filing your LLC that you are using some sort of address that you can receive mail to, because oftentimes the state will send notices to whatever address you use for the filing. So if you use some sort of dummy address and you're not receiving those notices, there's a good chance that they're gonna yank your good standing certificate and your LLC won't be in good standing. So make sure you keep that in mind. All right, the fifth thing that you need to keep in mind when it comes to setting up an LLC is understand that it's not going to automatically bring you customers. Now, I know setting up your LLC is super exciting, but it kind of reminds me of business cards. I think sometimes new entrepreneurs love getting all of the, brand materials together, their business card, their LLC, they feel like they're in business, and then they just think the customers are supposed to start rolling in because they have an LLC or a business card or something now. And that's not how it works. As I mentioned before, an LLC is great. It's gonna help you do a lot of things, but it won't necessarily make the money for you, right? It'll help you make the money easier, but it won't help you make the money. You're gonna have to do that yourself by building a brand and coming up with a really good business idea, and particularly nailing your niche, right? So you wanna get really clear on what the niche is in your business and what service it is that you are providing so that you can start to to make some money in that LLC. And if you're not clear on what your business idea is, or you have a few ideas, but you're not really sure on who your target market is and what your niche should be, then I invite you to join me on my brand new Nail Your Niche Challenge. Now, I'm so excited about this. This is something that I do typically on a monthly basis as of this recording, but I can't guarantee it, so you'll definitely want to click the link below to see if I have an upcoming challenge. But this is a challenge that I do live where you can work with me over the course of 5 days in a really exciting challenge to nail your niche. So at the end of the 5 days, if you have any ambiguity about what your niche is, I'm telling you it's going to be clear after the end of this challenge. These challenges are a ton of fun. We've had thousands of people go through them and they've all gotten really great results. So go ahead and click the link below to see if I have one coming up. I will warn you, these are legitimately limited, and they're limited because it's live and I do these over Zoom. And so there's even an option where you can coach with me and ask me questions via the Nail Your Niche Challenge. And so I like to keep the Zooms limited so that people who register to ask questions have a chance to actually ask their questions. So if you click the link below, it'll show you how many spots we have left for the upcoming Nail Your Niche Challenge. And if you see that there are spots available, go ahead and register. All right, that's all I have for you. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you like this, don't forget to check out the rest of my videos. Make sure you give this a thumbs up and subscribe. And if you can't wait until my next video, even though I'm cranking them out more regularly, so make sure that you are checking out my channel. But if you can't even wait until tomorrow or the next day when the next video comes out, make sure that you are following me on Instagram and also on my podcast called The Courtney Sanders Show on both iTunes and Spotify. And with that, I will see you in the next video. Bye.